We are on the road to $1 million portfolio. 60% of my portfolio is in China. And I know what you're going to say, that is very risky. There's so much China risk. There's the Taiwan potential war, etc., etc. But this is what I'm doing in my portfolio. Let me break down the stocks that I own and kind of why I own them. I'm doing this video because I got a comment on my last video telling me to break down my portfolio. So we're going to break it down in this video and kind of see where I'm heading at, or kind of see my thought process with this portfolio. So before we get into the video, like it and subscribe to my channel. So let's get into the first stock that I own. So when you think about my portfolio, you have to think about it in these three stocks, because these stocks are my biggest positions, and those are going to like drive majority of my gain. So if they're not doing well, I don't do well. So let's get into the first stock. The first stock is Alibaba. If you've been watching my channel for the past 3 years, you know I've always been super bullish on Baba. It's finally kind of recovered up to that nice point, 20% of my overall holdings. And I find this really fitting, and I'm going to keep it this way. If you actually break down Alibaba's business and you go through its assets, you would understand it's at least fair value $200 when you take in the Alibaba international business, Ant Financial. Like, people like don't even think about Ant Financial. That's at least around 15 to $20 billion. You have Taobao and Tmall. We have Xiao now. Like, we just have so much in Baba. We have the cash pile, like 50 billion, plus the investments they own in Alibaba. So we just have a dominant business that has a lot of strong assets that if you were to like sell them all off, Alibaba can get at least to a $200 a share valuation. So that's why I'm so content of holding at least 20% of my portfolio in Alibaba. And this is a dominant business. This is not a business that's dying out. The revenue grew last quarter at 8%. They're investing heavily in AI and their cloud growth. They have a dominant 40% position in the e-commerce and in the cloud market. I can kind of predict that in the next 5 years, I'm pretty sure, I'm 80% confident that Baba is going to grow into the future. I'm not sure how big, but I'm assuming that it's going to grow with an 80% confidence rate. I can just hold and just be happy with my position. I think it's at least $1 trillion company for the dominance that it holds in China. Like, compared to any other business like Amazon or like Apple, like that's how dominant Alibaba is in China. So I can just see this as $1 trillion business. So I'm gonna hold until I reach that point. The next company is JD.com. You know, on this channel, I've been super bullish on JD.com. It's still cheap to me. It's like a 12 PE. It grew double digits, top line and like bottom line growth. The overall business is going to continue to grow. Like, the management is super bullish. Their users are growing double digits. They have the supermarket business inside of JD.com growing. The e-commerce, like the third-party users are growing and they're buying a lot more. Plus, we have the China stimulus. Like, people are underrating the China stimulus right now. Like, think about it. Like, China's doing everything in their power to boost the economy and like make sure they boost consumption and get everyone to buy. So that's really gonna have a strong effect on JD's business. I see in 2025, JD.com killing it. It's at like a 4 PE of like under like 7. Like, that's insane. And they're gonna continue to grow. They're buying back shares like 3 to 4% a year. They're giving you a dividend. So that's another 15% of my portfolio. Now moving on to Tencent. Tencent is another 15% of my portfolio. So you can already see there, that's 50% of my portfolio just in those companies. So you can see I'm a heavy bull in China because I'm a contrarian guy. Like, when I saw everyone was dumping China, no one liked it. When the headlines were saying that China is not investable, like, I was going all in back then. So I was just ahead of the curve. Like, I have strong gains already. I have strong gains in JD.com and Tencent. Baba, I'm only up like 15%. I've been holding for a while and I'm still super bullish on the uptrend that Baba has. So Tencent is just a beast. Like, these are like the dominant companies in China. So like, why wouldn't I own them when I bought them at a cheap valuation and I knew they're going to continue to grow? It was just a short-term headache from the Chinese government. Now they want them to do really well. So we have Tencent growing double digits. They have a strong investment portfolio that's really underrated. Like, they have a lot of stocks in their portfolio that's super underrated. People don't even realize that they gave away JD.com shares and I got a huge dividend from that. People like forgot about that, and they can do that for a lot of companies that they own in their business. They have WeChat mini programs that's growing. They still have their gaming business that's growing double digits, still domestic, international. they have a lot going for it, and they're getting into AI really, really heavy, and they're actually seeing very strong progress in that. Man, like I don't know, I don't see how I lose when I'm buying the three dominant businesses in China. Plus, we have the government giving you this huge stimulus and huge backing. Compare that to the US growing 2% or Canada or anywhere else. And China's the second biggest economy, growing 4 to 5% GDP. That's insane. So I'm just super bullish in the future, at least in the next 5 years from China. I can hold these stocks, not caring what the market says or what the market does. If there's a war, that's like a different situation. Then you can be like, okay, maybe I screwed up, but I don't think people are going to go to war with China. China's too dominant, they're too powerful. I very highly doubt that's going to happen. So I'm betting on the opposite side of that view. The next two positions are like 7 to 8%, both of these positions. One is X Financial, and then the next position is QFN. I call this company QFN because the ticker symbol is QFIN. These two companies were just super undervalued when I bought them. They were selling at like a 4 or 5 PE. I'm already up like 140% on both of these positions. I'm talking about these like financial stocks in the Chinese market, like way back. I was buying into it. Like it just didn't make sense. They're giving you like a 7% dividend. They're buying back like 15% of their shares. They were growing. The revenue was growing. The bottom line was growing. China is telling you they're doing stimulus, so they want people to borrow more money. The only issue I had with buying these companies, not putting like a bigger position, is that there's a potential it could be a fraud. And even in QFN, there was a report that came out saying it was a fraud. The stock didn't really move much, and this like Grizzly report came out saying it was a fraud. And I kind of sold a little bit because I was still hesitant because I'm not in China. I don't know these stocks. I don't know these borrowing stocks off by hand. But if I'm just reading the numbers, if I'm just reading reports, it all looks bullish. But you just never know. There's always a chance of fraud because remember, people think China is just fraud, whatever. I still have a little doubts in my mind, but man, I'm up huge on these positions, over 120% on these positions. But there's always a chance that maybe I missed something on them, but still, they're super cheap in my mind. Like these companies are just buying back so much stock. They're giving you a dividend. Like they're growing like double digits. The revenue for QFN is not growing as much, but X Financial, top and bottom line growing at a 3 PE. It doesn't make sense. I'm bullish. So let's see what happens, man. I'm just holding on, seeing what happens. So that's already 60% of my portfolio. And then I just have a bunch of other companies that make up like 4%, 3%, 5%, whatever. These 5 companies are going to be what moves my stock portfolio to $1 million, hopefully into the future. So if China does bad, like I'm going to do bad. If these stocks do bad, then I'm going to do bad. These are the stocks that I'm going to be holding because I believe in what China is doing to the market. And I believe I can at least get like a double, triple. What do you think about this video? What do you think about my portfolio? These are the stocks that I own. I'm going to hold them for the long term. Unless something changes, the thesis goes crazy. Let's see. Peace.